My name is Christie Arkovich, and we own and operate a small firm, Arkovich Law in Tampa, Florida, where we specialize in student loans, bankruptcy, and other debt relief type things. I wanted to mention that we've had some clients reach out to us that have been placed on forbearance temporarily during the SAVE litigation that's going on, but they have payments, rather substantial payments that are due in September. And so I wanted to remind everyone that I understand the need to want to wait till after the elections, after perhaps the U.S. Supreme Court rules on SAVE and other things. But if you wait too long, there are three programs that are expiring on September 30. And we have no indication that these are ever going to be available again. So I encourage you to look at those three programs that are expiring. Make sure that you're doing all that you can for your student loans. If you need assistance, please reach out to us. Our office number is 813-258-2808. We can also be reached at info@christiearkovich.com. And our intake person gets those emails, and she would set you up for a strategy session so we can go over your particular loans and what would be the best course of action for those. So the three programs that are expiring, first of all, on-ramp is ending September 30. What on-ramp is President Biden's basically next stage for the pause. If you remember, the CARES Act during COVID paused all federal student loan payments under the direct loan program. Not all loans were included. Some older FFEL loans were not included, as well as private loans and things like that. But what on-ramp is when the pause basically ended September of last year, the on-ramp program was sort of a soft start to the repayment of student loans. And so for the following year, September to September of this year, folks who were not able to make a payment or who chose not to make a payment for whatever reason, there would be no collection actions. And that was super important because there's no negative credit reporting, there's no garnishments, whether wages or bank accounts, no Social Security offsets and all that. All that's going to end on September 30. The government will once again initiate collections. They will go ahead and negatively impact someone's credit score. And from the mortgage foreclosure days back in 2008, we found that the 30-day late, 60-day late, 90-day delinquency notices were very, very harmful for someone's credit, even more so than the eventual foreclosure action, perhaps. And so those lates can be very problematic. Also, if you default on a federal student loan, if you recall, you're in default once you're 270 days delinquent. That's basically 9 months. Thereafter, they can report the default. It really, really hurts someone trying to buy a home because of the documentation that is looked at by underwriters through the CAVERS program will show that default. It also hurts things like insurance rates, of course, and just basic day-to-day type expenses. But a lot of folks don't realize that when a default is declared, did you know they add 25% to your loan balance? That's huge. I mean, that's just enormous. It doesn't matter what collections have already taken place or what's going to take place. It's not really a legal fee. It's just that Congress has allowed this 25% to be added to a loan balance once someone defaults. And you can default more than once, which means 25% and another 25%. So please, do be aware that that on-ramp is ending. Another program that is ending on September 30 is the Fresh Start program. Now, that's a way to get out of default. In the old days, we were very troubled by the fact that there were only two ways to get out of default. One was consolidate to direct loans. Once you did that, you could not do that again. Another is to do a rehabilitation or rehab for short. That's making 9 out of 10 payments. You have to make them on time and have a rehab agreement in place and so forth. But typically, you can only do that once too. Now, you can do it more than once, but a long time has to go between them. So really, for most purposes, it's really one time. So we consider that to be similar to Monopoly, your get out of jail cards. And you could only consolidate once, you could only rehab once. So potentially someone in default, maybe under garnishment, they could not cure that default, get out of garnishment, no matter how low the IDR program might be. It might be a zero payment. They just couldn't get out of garnishment. And garnishments are under the federal system. So there's no state exemptions for certain things like single parents and things like that. And so this Fresh Start program, this initiative started last year, and it basically provided a third and brand new way to get a default. It's very easy to do. We just did a video on that recently on the specifics of what you do. It takes 5 minutes or less. But it expires September 30. There's no fee for getting out of default right now. Normally, when you do a rehab or consolidation, which is exactly what's going to go, it's going to go back to that. You know, it's September 30 when Fresh Start stops, it'll go back to the old ways. The old ways was about 16.5% was added to a loan balance once the rehab is completed. It went to a different party. It was very confusing as to whether or not that party was legitimate or not. There was a lot of debt scams kind of surrounding that, I think, because of that reason. You'd all of a sudden hear from a new party who bought the newly cured defaulted loan, and you don't know them. You've never talked with them. So you think it's a scam and you ignore them and accidentally default again. But the consolidation opportunities are very problematic right now. And so if you're looking at consolidating to cure default, just know that it's probably going to take a while. They're not doing online applications for consolidation right now. The whole online system is put on hold. And so you're looking at doing them by paper. They normally will take at least 45 days. And so if you're trying to cure default before September 30, you probably can't do it by consolidation alone. The advantage of Fresh Start is that it will also cure or correct any negative credit delinquencies. They would normally be on your credit report for a consolidation, but they will not be if you cure the default by Fresh Start. You also could get IDR credit during COVID period. It's 4.5 years or so. So if you happen to default around the beginning of COVID, if you use the Fresh Start program now to cure that default, you will get IDR credit for that time period. If you do it through some other mechanism like consolidation or rehab down the road, you won't get that credit. So there's a lot of reasons to do Fresh Start right now. It's free. It's a government program that will expire on September 30. And then additionally, the IDR audit. We've been waiting. We've been waiting a while now, about 6 months or so. The goalposts keep moving. Someone on Reddit the other day mentioned that the goalposts seem to be on wheels, and I don't disagree. We've had the deadline continue to be pushed back from December on through now September 30. It's an automatic thing. The IDR waiver is a very, very important program. We think that it cures a lot of the problems that had occurred in the last decade or so where people were basically steered towards forbearance, which only caused loan balances and interest rates to only cause loan balance to go up as interest rates continue to accrue. So we're a fan of the IDR audit. It's basically around to help those who had not gotten credit, IDR credit for extended periods of forbearance, deferment. Basically, you call your servicer, and instead of being told a rather lengthy conversation about IDR plans, public service, how it works, they would just push everyone on forbearance. And it's designed to give people credit as if that conversation had occurred and things would be done backdated to that time frame so that you get credit, IDR credit, as if you'd been on IDR and assuming that conversation would have went that direction. But that's going to expire. I mean, basically, it's not expiring per se, but the government is going to do the IDR audit at the end of this month. Now, we don't know for sure if that's going to occur. It's been moved, like I mentioned, several times. We hope that it will, because it will give people a lot of credit, especially for those older loans, to reach the 20 and 25-year forgiveness mark. There's a number of things. We've done a bunch of videos about what the IDR credit is. I won't go and rehash that now. Just know that if you want to take advantage of that, you need to make sure that you have direct loans so that the IDR audit will apply before the end of this month. Now, that might mean a consolidation. It may also mean opting out. Initially, for the IDR audit, if the consolidation takes 45 days, the IDR audit might occur in less than 30. There's issues with opting out. Normally, you would be put in the next month's round of debt forgiveness. We don't know if that's going to occur. And so I'm a little concerned there. And I think that everyone should make sure that they understand what the rules are, what exactly has been put under the injunction of the SAFE program, those 400 pages of regs, and maybe what the best course of action would be going forward. It is complicated, unfortunately, but I do want everyone to know those 3 programs are expiring. Please don't wait until the elections to make critical decisions on your loans, because maybe those programs would be a big help for you. They're not little programs, they're huge. And there's not a lot of press out there about the expiration of these programs, and I really wish there is. So if you have an opportunity to share this with other folks who may benefit from knowing that they need to cure a default before September 30, here's the best way to do it, and potentially some other things. So please share if you don't mind. And if you like this video and it's been helpful for you, please subscribe. It allows us to continue to see how many people are watching the videos, if they're helpful for folks. This is free advice that our law office is trying to get the word out of different programs that are coming into play and expiring and so forth. So I hope you have a great day, and please subscribe. All right. Thank you.